So the first 4 questions on the review just say divide. So your test will be the same. You can divide however you want. You can use long division or synthetic division. So I'll do one of each with you guys. So number 2, I'm going to do synthetic division for this one. What goes inside the box here? The first thing, but what exactly goes inside the box?
1, 2, 0, 4.
Awesome. We don't have an x to the first power here, so I have to put a 0 in that spot. So 1, 2, 0, and 4. And then what goes on the outside? -2. So remember, you change the sign for synthetic division. You don't change the sign for long division. So -2 goes on the outside. We drop down the 1. And what do we do to the numbers on the outside? Multiply. So this would be -2. What do we do to the numbers on the inside? Add or subtract. Depends if it's negative. But 2 minus 2 would be 0. -2 times 0 is 0. -2 times 0 is 0. So we have 4. So if my question started with x to the third power, what does my answer have to start with? X to the second power. It's always 1 less. So then this would be x, and then the last numbers are remainder. So remember, we don't put the zeros. So it'll just be x squared, remainder 4. All right, let's take a look at number 3. So I'll do this one long division way, so we can get a little refresher. So r plus 1 goes on the outside. 4r cubed minus 4r squared minus 10r plus 1 goes on the inside. So what's the first thing I do? Awesome. We divide, or we just take away one of the r's from our first term. So instead of being 4r to the third power, on top we're going to write 4r squared when Marina comes back. What do I do next? Multiply with everything out front. So this becomes 4r cubed. And 4r squared times 1 would be 4r squared. So then we subtract. We have to change the signs. So our first terms cancel. What's negative 4r squared minus 4r squared? Negative 8r squared. What do I do next?
How did you get -8?
What's negative 4 minus 4?
How did you get the 2 -4s? I thought we were subtracting 4 at the top.
So we multiplied here. So you multiply that negative, or the 4r squared by both things out front. So it becomes 4r cubed plus 4r squared. And then you have to change the signs. And then you combine them with what's above.
Wouldn't it be 0?
Negative 4 minus 4
Yeah.
would be negative 8, because they're both negative.
Oh, wait, isn't 4?
What do I do next? Awesome. We drop an r, so it'd be negative 8r. And then we multiply, so we get negative 8r squared. And then what's negative 8r times 1? Negative 8r. And then what's next? Change the signs and drop down the negative 10r. So the first one's always cancel. What's negative 10r plus 8r? Negative 2r. What goes next? Negative 2 up top. Perfect. We just lose the r. And then negative 2 times r would be negative 2r. And negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Change the signs. And then last we have 1 plus 2, which is? What do I do with that 3? That's our remainder. So there's going to be 2 dividing questions on your test. I would just pick a way that you feel comfortable with, either long division or synthetic, and just do them both that way if you want to. So if you like synthetic a lot better, solve with synthetic on the test. Alright, so the next part of the test, we're going to be simplifying. So there's some radicals that you don't have to do any math before. It already gives you the radical. We just have to break it down. Sometimes we're going to have to multiply. Sometimes we're going to have to divide. Let's do the even ones here. So what are 2 factors of 40? 4 and 10. And then how many A's do I have? 2. And what are 2 factors of 4? 2 and 2, and 2 factors of 10? Groups of 3, because my index is 3. Do I have 3 of a kind? I have 3 2s. So what comes to the outside? What stays on the inside?
5a squared.
Awesome. 5 and a squared. So we need that index still in our answer, so it'll be the cubed root of 5a squared. All right, let's look at number 8. What are 2 factors of 245? 49 and 5. And then I have 2 b's. What are 2 factors of 49? 7 and 7. Do I have any pairs here? So what am I going to circle? 7's and b's. So what comes to the outside? 7b. What stays on the inside? 5. So 7b square root 5. All right, let's take a look at number 9. So let's break down our radical first. What are 2 factors of 80? 10 and 8. And what are 2 factors of 8? 4 and 2. And 2 factors of 10? 5 and 2. And 2 factors of 4? 2 and 2. And how many m's do I have? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm circling groups of how many here? Groups of 2. So I have 2 2's, 2 2's, 2 m's, and 2 m's. So what comes to the outside? 2 times 2, m squared, because I have 2 m's. And what's left on the inside? Square root 5. Did I have anything on the outside to start? That negative. So I need to make sure that I put that negative in my answer also. So if you had a number out front to start, or a negative out front like you do here, just put it out front and multiply it together with whatever else you take out. So it's negative times 2 times 2. Negative 4 m squared square root 5. So that's our final answer. So let's also look at number 7. Here we have a negative on the inside. So if I take that negative out, can I?
Yeah.
Is it an I? What do you think?
Yeah.
What's my degree? My index? 3. Is that even or odd?
I don't know.
Odd, so it comes out as a negative.
Oh, so it forgot.
If it's even, so if I just had like a normal square root and I have a negative, I would take that out and turn it into an I.
So
You might.
if that number was a 4, you would turn it into 9.
If the degree, yeah, if the degree, the index here was even, it would turn into an I.
So if it was 4, it'd be
But since it's odd, we just take it out. So then we break it down normally. So what are 2 factors of 40? 10 and 4. And we could do 5 and 8. That would work too. What are 2 factors of 10? 5 and 2. And 2 factors of 4? And how many 8s do I have? I mean, how many A's do I have? 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm circling groups of what? Groups of 3. So I have 3 2's, 3 A's, 3 A's. So what comes to the outside? What else is on the outside? So negative 2a squared. And what has to stay on the inside?
5a squared.
5a squared. And then I can't forget to put the little index of 3. So whatever your index is in the question, that just has to stay in your answer.
I would do number 10.
Yes. Okay, let's take a look at number 10. What should I do first? Break down the 80. So what are 2 factors of 80? 10 and 8. And 2 factors of 8? 4 and 2. 2 factors of 10? 5 and 2. So 2, 2, 2, 2, 5. And I have 3 p's. What comes to the outside? I circle 4 of the 2's because my index is 4. So what comes to the outside? A 2. And I already had a 7 on the outside, so it'll be 2 times 7 on the outside. What stays on the inside? 5p cubed, because I have 5 and 3 p's. And then don't forget you need your index there. And then what do I do if I take out a number and I already have one on the outside? Multiply. So this becomes 14. The fourth, our index of 4, so the fourth root of 5p cubed. So the test is going to start off by saying divide. You can pick whatever way you want to divide. You can use synthetic division or long division. So let's look at number 1 and we can divide.
Can I give it a try?
Sure. Do you want to do synthetic division?
Synthetic?
Okay, so what's going to go in the box?
Oh, wait, hold on. I start on the outside.
Okay, what number goes outside?
First, we gotta put the 6 on the outside.
Positive 6 or negative 6?
Positive 6.
Negative. Isn't it the one where you flip it?
Negative 6. We changed the sign.
We'll put it in.
In the box goes 8, 46.
Negative 26, 42.
Okay.
Then bring the 8 all the way down.
Uh-huh.
6 times 8.
Which is?
48.
Negative 48.
Alright. Then it's 94.
Well, since it's negative, it becomes negative 2. Well, you have to change it to negative because that means all your numbers are different.
Okay, then I
So negative 9 plus 12 would be 3. This multiply, we get negative 18. Add, this would give us 8. Multiply, negative 48. Add, negative 6. So if our question started with x to the 4th power, what does our answer have to start with? X to the 3rd, then x squared, then x, then the number, then the last one's our remainder. So if it doesn't have a plus sign or minus sign, we add a plus there. So this would be our answer. All right, let's go to the simplifying ones. So let's take a look at number 5. What should I do first? Break down the 24 into 8 and 4. What are 2 factors of, no, not 8 and 4. 8 and 3. And 2 factors of 8. 2 and 4. And 2 factors of 4. 2 and 2. I circle groups of how many here? Groups of 2. Remember when it's not rain, it's groups of 2. So I have 2 2's here. So what comes to the outside? 2, and I already had a 3 on the outside, so I have to put that on the outside also. What stays on the inside? 3 and 2, which would be 6. Because if we have more than one number on the outside, we multiply them. If you have more than one number on the inside, you multiply them. So 6 square root 6p. So when you don't have an index that's written, it's implied that it's a 2, so you circle groups of 2. Let's do number 13. Can I combine these together? Yeah, my indexes are the same, so I can combine them. So whatever's on the outside stays on the outside. So I'll have a 3 and a 5 on the outside.
The indexes are different.
You can't combine them if the indexes are different. So if the indexes were different, you would say can't simplify or can't combine. So then I have the cubed root of, I'm going to write all my numbers from the inside together. So I have 5 and 50. And then how many y's am I going to have on the inside? 7. 1, 2, 3 from the first radical and 4 from the second. I circle groups of how, oh, well, let's break down our numbers first. Can I break down 5? No, it's prime already. What are 2 factors of 50? 5 and 10, and 2 factors of 10? 5 and 2. So I circle groups of what? Groups of 3. So what would I circle? The 5s. Anything else? 3 y's and another 3 y's. So what else is going to come to the outside? So I already have a 3 and a 5 from before. What else? 5 and y squared. And then on the inside, what do I have? 2y. Whatever doesn't get circled stays on the inside. and my index is still 3. And then I just need to multiply everything that I took out. So it's 3 times 5 times 5. 75y squared, and then the cubed root of 2y. All right, let's look at 18. Can I combine these together? Yep. So that 2 on the outside just stays on the outside, and then I have the cubed root of 75 times 25. What are 2 factors of 75? 25 and 3. What are 2 factors of 25? 5 and 5. So then I have 5 and 5, 3, 5, 5. So I'd circle groups of how many? Groups of 3. So what would I circle here? 3 5s. So I have 1, 2, 3. So what comes to the outside? 5. And I already had a 2 on the outside. What stays on the inside? 5 and 3. Whatever doesn't get circled. And then what do I do if I have more than one number on the outside or inside? Multiply. So this is 10, then the cubed root of 15. Any questions?
22. Can we simplify number 22?
Let's look. Yes.
That's the 18.
Yeah. You're welcome. Okay, let's do 22. Can I combine these? Yes. So I put it all under one radical. I have 125 x to the 4th power, and then 5x. So starting with the numbers, can I simplify this? 125 over 5. Does 5 go into 125? How many times? 25. So if you didn't know that, just write it down. I have 125 divided by 5. So 5 goes into 12 2 times with 2 left over. 5 goes into 25 5 times. So this would be 25. And then if I have 4 x's on the top and 1 on the bottom, how would this simplify? So I have x cubed on the top.
We have to write the x's.
You don't have to. You can do it however you want. If you want to subtract, because we subtract the top minus the bottom, so it'd be 4 minus 1. That gives us 3. You could do it that way too. So you don't have to write them out. What do I do next? So what are 2 factors of 25? 5 and 5. I'm circling groups of how many here? Groups of 2. Do I have a group of 2? So what do I circle? 5 and x. So what comes to the outside? And what stays on the inside? The x that doesn't get circled. So our answer is 5x square root x. Any questions? Any other ones that you guys want to see?
We do 23.
Matthias, what number was yours?
20.
Okay. We'll do 20 and then 23. All right. So what do I do with number 20? How should I start?
Did you see if they're combinable?
Can I combine them?
Yes.
Yep. So how would I combine them?
It would be 2 times 4.
2 times 4 on the outside. Perfect.
Is 20 times 100.
20 times 100. So I like to put my numbers together first. And then how many x's do I have?
Would you expand the x's and the y's?
You could. So how many x's total do I have?
You have
Perfect. 3 x's and 7 y's. So I have 1 x from the first one, 2 from the second, and then 2 y's from the first one, 5 from the second. So let's break down our numbers. What are 2 factors of 20?
5 and 4.
5 and 4. And 2 factors of 10? 2 factors of 100.
10 and 10.
10 and 10. 2 factors of 4?
2 and 2.
2 and 2. 2 factors of 10?
5 and 2.
And 2 factors of 10?
5 and 8.
So I circle groups of how many here?
3.
Groups of 3. So I have 3 2s and I also have 3 5s. 1, 2, 3. So what comes to the outside?
The 2 and the 5, so it'd be 2 times 4 times 5 times 2.
Perfect. And what stays on the inside?
4 with all the x's and everything.
So I just have a 2 left on the inside. So 2. And then I also, can I circle x's?
Yes.
So I have a pair of x's that'll go on the outside.
Yep.
And anything else?
You have 2 pairs of y's that go
2 pairs of y's that
on
also go on the outside. And then anything else on the,
should be it.
what stays on the inside then?
The y.
The y.
And 2.
Yep. So then everything that I took out, I have to multiply together. So 2 times 4 times 5 times 2. Bless you.
Would that be 80?
Perfect. 80. And then how many x's did I take out? 1. And how many y's?
2.
So how would I write that?
XY squared.
xy squared. And then I have the cubed root of 2y on the inside. All right, let's take a look at number 12. So can I combine these together? Yep. So I'm going to put the numbers together, 8 times 40, and then I'm going to put the y's together. So how many y's do I have? 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the first one and 2 from the second. What should I do next? Simplify. What are 2 factors of 8?
4 and 2.
And 2 factors of 40? And 2 factors of 4? Yes.
Can I go on a minute and get to that?
Yes.
I think she's never
Okay, so I circle groups of how many here?
2.
Groups of 2. Remember, when that index isn't written, we know that it's groups of 2. So I have 2 2s, 2 2s, 2 2s. What else am I going to circle? 2 i's, 2 i's, 2 i's. So what comes to the outside?
2 times 2 times 2 y cubed.
Perfect. And what stays on the inside?
Y.
Anything that doesn't get circled stays on the inside. So this would be the square root of 5y. So remember, if you circle it, it goes on the outside. If you don't circle it, it stays on the inside. What do I do if more than one number comes to the outside? Multiply. So it's 2 times 2 times 2.
80.
So this would be 8y cubed square root 5y. All right, looking at number 20. So what if I have a number on the outside already? What do I do with it?
You can
I can multiply it with the other number, but it stays on the outside. If it's already on the outside, it stays there. So 2 times 4 will go on the outside. Can I combine my radicals together? Yep, because my indexes are the same. So this would be the cubed root of 120, because I'll put my numbers together. And then how many x's do I have? 3. 1 in the first one, 2 in the second, and then I have 2 y's in the first one and 5 in the second. What should I do next?
simplify.
Simplify. So what are 2 factors of 100? 10 and 10. And what are 2 factors of 20? 5 and 4. And then what are 2 factors of 10? 5 and 2, 5 and 2, and 2 and 2 for our factors of 4. I'm circling groups of what here? Groups of 3. So I have 3 5s that get circled here. I also have 3 2s that get circled here. And then what else do I have to circle? The x's, and then I have 3 y's and 3 y's. So what's going to come to the outside?
2, 4, 5, and another 2.
Uh-huh. And what else?
And x squared, y squared.
X and y squared, because I have 2 y's that come out. What stays on the inside?
Y.
Just a y. The y is the only thing that didn't get circled, so it'll be the cubed root of y. And then if I took more than one number out on the outside, what do I have to do with all of them? Multiply. So it's 2 times 4 times 5 times 2. 80. So 80xy squared, and then I have the cubed root of y. Don't forget that you have to write your index in your answer. I forgot about this too, so it should be 2y. All right, let's look at 17. Can I combine these?
No.
Nope, my indexes are different, so we cannot combine. Okay, let's do 19. What goes to, can I combine these? Yes. And that -5 just stays on the outside. So I have -5 times the 4th root of 80 times 2. And then how many x's do I have? 4. So what should I do next? What are 2 factors of 80? 8 and 10, 2 and 2. What are 2 factors of 8? 1 and 2 and 5. And 2 factors of 4? So I have 2, 2, 2, 2, 5, 2. I'm circling groups of what here? Groups of 4. So I have 4 2s. Anything else get circled? 4 x's. So what comes to the outside? 2x and what else? The -5. Because the -5 is already on the outside. What stays on the inside? So the 4th root of 5 times 2. So what do I do to the numbers on the outside? Multiply. So this would be -10x. And the numbers on the inside? 10. Let's look at 15. Can I combine these? Yep, so it'll be the cubed root of -12 times -18. What is a negative times a negative? A positive. So this will be 12 times 18. Because it comes positive. What do I do next? So what are 2 factors of 12? 6 and 2. What are 2 factors of 18? 9 and 2. And 2 factors of 6? And 2 factors of 9. So I circle groups of what here? Groups of 3. So I have 3 3s and 3 2s. So what comes to the outside? 3 times 2. What stays on the inside? Nothing. So it's 3 times 2. All right, let's do 21. Can I combine these together? Yep. They have the same index. So I have 18 and 5 x's on top. And then 2 and 3 x's on the bottom. So starting with the numbers, can I simplify 18 divided by 2? Yep. So that would be 9. And then how would I simplify the x's? Subtract. I could do 5 minus 3 or just cancel them out. So how many x's am I left with? 2. What should I do next? Simplify. What are 2 factors of 9? 3 and 3. And I circle what? 2 of a kind. So what comes to the outside? 3x. Let's look at 23. Can I combine these together? Yep. So my big radical there. I have 81x to the third power on top, y squared on top, and then 3x to the fourth power on the bottom, and y on the bottom. So looking at my numbers, can I simplify 81 divided by 3? 27, perfect. So 27. Then with my x's,
Would you get 1 on the bottom?
1x on the bottom and a y on the top.
So when it's negative, you just put x on the bottom.
Uh-huh. So if you subtract them, if I did 3 minus 4 and got -1, negative means that it goes on the bottom. But it's positive when it's on the bottom. All right, what should I do next?
Did you simplify?
Simplify. So let's find factors of 27.
3 and 9.
3 and 9, and factors of 9?
3.
3 and 3. So I circle groups of how many here?
3.
So what comes to the outside?
Just 1 3.
Just 1, 3. What stays on the inside?
X at x.
Y over x. Perfect.
Keep it y over.
Yeah, because the x is still on the bottom, so you keep it y over x. If you wanted to, if you split it up here as like the cubed root of 27y over the cubed root of x, you could have your answer as 3 the cubed root of y over the cubed root of x. That works too. Or you could leave it together. Either way is good. All right, 27. What should I do first here? So for my variable, I can multiply the exponent. So this would be like 15 over 1 times 6 over 5. So multiply the tops together. So 15 times 6 should be 30. And 6 times 1 is 90. So 90 over 5. And can I simplify 90 over 5? 90 divided by 5. So let's write it down. We have 90 divided by 5. 5 goes into 9 one time with 4 left over. 5 goes into 40 8 times, so 18. So my answer is going to be k to the 18th power. And then with the number, I have 32 to the power of 6 over 5. What's my index here? 5. So I have the 5th root of 32 to the 6th power. I could either write that 6 on the inside or the outside. Doesn't matter. Which one do you guys want to do? We can do the outside.
Wait, so,
Remember, the denominator is always your index. Well, we already did the k part, so we did that separate. You could either do them together and just put your answers to... You could do them together and put it all in the box, or you could do it separate and just write your answers together at the end. All right, let's break down 32. What are 2 factors of 32? 8 and 4. And 2 factors of 8? 4 and 2. 2 factors of 4? So I circle groups of how many here? Groups of 5. So I have 5 2's. So what comes to the outside? 2. But what do I still have to do? The exponent. So this is 2 to the 6th power, which is like saying 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So we can do this one step at a time. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. And 2 times 2 is 4. What's 4 times 4?
16.
And 16 times 4? 64. So this would be 64k to the 18th power. So what's my index here? 2. So I have 25x to the 6th power, and then what's my exponent? 3. I could put that inside or outside? Let's do outside. So if I break this down, what are 2 factors of 25? And then I have 6 x's, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I circle what? Groups of 2. So I have 5's, x, x, and x. So what comes to the outside? 5x to the 3rd power, but then I also have that exponent of 3 up top still. So if you have an exponent of 3, make sure that gets distributed to the 5 and the x. So what's 5 to the 3rd power? 5 times 5 times 5. So 125, awesome. What is x cubed to the 3rd power? Awesome. And whenever you have an exponent raised to an exponent, you multiply them. So this would be x to the 9th. For 30. Since we have the same exponent, we can combine them. So this would be 18 times 6 r to the 6th power, because I have 2 and 4, to the 3/2 power. So you can combine it all under 1. What is my index here? 2. Remember, denominator is your index, so I have the square root of 18 times 6r to the 6th power, and then that's to the 3rd power. So let's break it down. What are 2 factors of 18? 9 and 2. 2 factors of 6? 3 and 2. R to the 6th power would be r times r times r 6 times. And then 9 is 3 and 3. So what would I circle here?
2 3s, 2 2s, and then 3 sets of r.
So what comes to the outside?
3 times 2 to the r cubed.
3 times 2 to the power of r cubed. And then I have the square root of 3. And then this is all cubed, because I still have that degree of 3. So 3 times 2 would be 6. R cubed, the square root of 3. So I have to cube the 6. Oops, there we go. So this is all cubed still. I have to cube the 6, the r cubed, and this part. So what is 6 cubed? That's like saying 6 times 6 times 6, which is?
36.
I think it's 216, yeah. And then how would I do r cubed cubed?
R to the 9.
Awesome, because remember when you have a degree raised to degree, multiply them, so that's r to the 9th. And then here, this is 3, the square root of 3 cubed, so that would be like saying 3 to the 3/2 power, which this can actually be simplified too. If I just take this, how many, what's my index here?
2.
2. And then it's 3 to the 3rd power. So if I write it on the inside, this would be like saying 3 times 3 times 3. Do I have any pairs? Yeah, I have a pair of 3s. So that comes to the outside too. So you would multiply that to 216.
Is there an easier way to do that?
No. I would say this would be like the hardest question on the review. So you probably won't see one like this on the test.
So 6r to the 3rd, we just multiply that 3 times 6 to the 10th.
Yes. Mm-hmm. What would you do for 32?
Multiply the exponents together? Or add?
What do you think?
Oh, you can't combine.
Can't combine because my exponents are different.
Can you keep number 30 up?
648 r to the 9th power, and then you still have the square root of 3. So this would be it. So 31, can I combine these together? Yeah, my degrees are the same, my exponents are the same, so I can combine. So this is p to the 5th power times p cubed to the 3/5 power. What's my index? 5. And then, how many p's do I have on the inside? What's p to the 5th power times p to the 3rd power? 8. So this is p to the 8th power. And then my degree here is 3. So p to the 8th power times 3 would be what? 24. So I would have 24 p's, which I could write those all out and circle groups of 5. Or, remember what we can do here is if I have p to the 8th power to the 3/5 power, what do I do when I have a degree raised to degree? A power raised to power. Multiply.
8 over 1.
So 8 times 3?
24.
24. And 5 times 1?
5.
5. I can't divide 5 into 24, but I can make it a mixed number. So what would it be as a mixed number? How many times does 5 go into 24?
4.
4 times. With how many left over?
No.
4.
4 left over. So how do you think I would write this as my answer? How many p's are going to come to the outside?
4.
4. How many p's stay on the inside?
4.
4. And what would be my index?
5.
5. Because remember, the denominators are indexed, so it would be 5th root of p to the 4th power.
We have a question.
Okay, so a refresher on how to make a mixed number. We would divide, so 24 divided by 5. 5 goes into, doesn't go into 2, but it goes into 24 times. So then that would be 5 times 4 is 20. We subtract. 5 doesn't go into 4, so our remainder is 4, so it would be 4/5. So whatever your remainder is, that just goes on top. So p to the 4th power came from this as the whole number. Whatever is your whole number comes outside. Whatever's the remainder part stays on the inside. So I could have done it this way where I wrote out 24 p's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then circled my group, so I have 5 p's, 5 p's, 5 p's. So 4 p's would come to the outside, and I would have 4 left over. So it's essentially doing the same thing.
That's just the easier way.
I think this way is easier because you can like see it better. You see what's coming out and you see what's staying on the inside.
So that one would be 4 p's. Like
Uh-huh.
p to the 4th
So p to the 4th,
and p to the 4th answer.
which is the same thing that we got here. Let's look at 24. Can I combine these?
Yes.
Yep, so this would be the 4th root of 32 over,
2.
with 5 x's, over 2 and 2 x's. Starting with the numbers, what's 32 divided by 2?
16.
And then with the x's, how many x's am I left with? 3. So I have the 4th root of 16x cubed. What should I do next? Simplify. What are 2 factors of 16? And 2 factors of 4? So what would I circle?
2.
So what comes to the outside? And what's left on the inside?
X cubed.
X cubed. So 2 times the 4th root of x cubed. All right, let's do 25. Can I combine these?
No.
Nope, my indexes are different, so can't combine.
Just can't.
Can't simplify, can't combine, either way. Yeah,
Can I just leave it blank?
no, you cannot leave it blank.
Can
put an X over it?
No. All right, for 26, let's see. There's a couple different ways we can solve this. We can do it all together, or we can separate it and do the number first and then the variable. So we'll do it separate, and then for 28, we'll do it all together. So what's my index here? 3. So I have the cubed root of 216. So what are two factors of 216? 36 and 6. What are two factors of 36? I'm circling groups of what? So what comes to the outside? 6. So then with the n, what do I do when I have an exponent raised to an exponent? Multiply. So 6 over 1 times 1 over 3. So this would be multiply straight across on the tops and the bottoms. So 6 over 3, which is 2. Yes. So it would be n squared on the outside. All right, for 28, I'll solve it all together. So what's my index here? 2. So 2 goes on the outside as my index, and then I have 81a to the 4th power, so I'll write 4 a's. What are two factors of 81? 9 and 9. Do I have to keep going? No, I could stop there because I'm circling groups of what? Groups of 2. So what comes to the outside? 9a squared. If you kept going, you would have gotten 3 times 3, which